Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King. And look, you know the goal. The goal of the podcast is to help you create an ecosystem of excellence in every single thing that you do. And look, let me tell you something. You cannot lead well if you don't feel well. And the truth is, your body is the engine. It is literally the engine to your leadership. Every single decision that you make, every conversation that you have, every late night strategy session depends on how well you move, how well you rest, and how well you recover. And in this episode, we're talking to my good friend, but we're talking about how and what leaders like what they're ignoring, and how your physical health, how your wellness, how your well-being directly shape your clarity, your confidence, and your capacity to lead others. My friend Aissa, doctor, how are you doing?
Great. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
I'm excited as well. Look, we've known each other for years now, and you've just evolved and grown so much. Some pivots here, but everything, your evolution is so amazing. Can we just start with you introducing yourself and talking about why this work that you're doing is important?
Yeah, so I am a physical therapist. So traditionally, I treat neck pain, back pain, hip, knee, pretty much pain in every area in our body. And I also treat pelvic floor issues. So I started off treating all of these different issues, but I also understood that all of these things are connected. I'd be seeing somebody for like a shoulder problem, a knee problem, just various different problems. And I found out like a lot of these people are dealing with multiple issues all at once. And I'm talking about pain, but also kind of things that are going on the inside of our body, like our gut, our energy, our blood sugar, all these things going on within us. And what I also notice is, yeah, these things are bothering us, but this also directly affects how we're showing up in our day, because we're showing up in our day, we're doing all these things, but we can't sit for a period of time because our back hurts, our energy's off because we're not kind of addressing all these things that are going on in our body. Our mental clarity is not right because our neck is super stiff. Maybe we have a little bit of a headache. So all of these things show up in our day. And when I was treating all these different areas, I found the biggest piece of all this is education and educating people on how all these things are actually connected and what we're actually able to do about it.
You know, it's interesting because, and I know a week ago or 2 weeks ago when we were having a conversation about even you coming on to the show, I was explaining to you, like, you don't really know what healthy is until you actually get healthy. And I think we normalize toxicity or unhealthy, and until you start eating right, until you start living well, until you start doing the necessary things that you need to do to really take care of your body, you start to recognize the result is, you're sharper, your mental clarity, your physical, strength, and all of these things. But I guess the question is, why is it so hard for people to just take care of their mind and take care of their bodies?
You know, I feel like it's so much easier to just like push through life. Like granted, like pushing, accomplishing things, they're hard, but it is so much easier to push through life, accomplish things, be productive, do all the things that we're like accustomed to doing, rather than step back, take a second, pause, and actually take care of ourselves. A lot of us are so used to this all or nothing mindset. We go all in on what we're doing and we neglect the basic things that are really going to help move the needle. And I feel like a lot of this is kind of like what's ingrained in us. And I'm trying to kind of help people kind of take a step back and understanding it's really the simple things that are really going to move the needle. It's really the simple things that let me rephrase this. We need to get kind of away from this all or nothing mindset and find a little bit more balance. So we can work, we still can accomplish all these things, but we need to take a step back sometimes.
And I love how you say it's these simple things, because I think there's somebody listening that they believe that it's these big audacious things. Like, I got to get into the gym 5 days a week. I have to hire a nutritionist or a dietitian. I have to do all of these things. And I just either don't have the time, don't have the money, don't have the capacity. And then they just don't do it at all. It's like, I might as well just keep doing what I'm doing. What are some of those simple things though?
So the first step is kind of realizing you aren't stuck. Like, we have to get out of this mindset of being like, I'm stuck right here, I can't do anything. And then we see all these different things, and we see things on like social media, we see like what our friends are doing, and it causes a sense of like overwhelm. And this overwhelm, that's the big problem. So what I really want people to do is kind of like, when they see these things, like observe it, like look at it, maybe even learn something from it. But we kind of have to have like a little bit of like blockers from all of these different things that we're seeing, and really kind of hone in on the basics. So one of the best things that you could start to do is limit this processed food and eat real food. It's really simple. Like, you're just eating real food. And we overcomplicate it, thinking we need to be a carnivore, we need to be a vegan, we need to do low fat, low carb, we need to do all of these different things. When what in actuality that we really need is just real food. And these processed, these sugary, these fatty foods, what these are doing, they're contributing to so many different chemicals and adding on like all these extra calories that are contributing to more fat, more inflammation, and slowing down how our bodies function. So one of the best things that you could do is just eat real food. And what I mean by real food, I mean whole food in whole form that you actually have to cook. And this is kind of like where meal prep comes into play. And I know so many of us are so busy running all these different places, but meal prep actually makes things so much more simpler, because you don't have to think about what I'm going to be eating later. It's just there for you. You don't have to think about, oh, this isn't going to be like what I really want tonight. But at the same time, not every meal has to be extravagant. Not every meal has to taste good. Some things just need to kind of get the job done.
Yeah.
So we want to start to get in whole food and prepare our food ahead of time. And it doesn't have to be every meal. And within these meals, you want to have some protein, so some type of meat or fish, some type of vegetables. We got to start to eat our vegetables, and some type of carb. And yes, we can eat our carbs, our starches, because those are a source of energy. So that's kind of just like the simplicity of nutrition. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, prepare your food, have some meals available on hand, and that provides your body so much substance so that you're actually getting fuel throughout the day. So you're not running on fumes. So you're not just running off of caffeine all day. Yeah. It just gives your body literally what it needs.
Well, you are definitely triggering me in this conversation, because I was at this what is it? I guess it's a coffee shop or a lounge. I don't know what it's called, but next time you're in Charlotte, I'll definitely have to take you there. It's this place called Vavella. Shout out to Vavella. And I walk in, and there's a whole bunch of desserts. It's cheesecake and chocolate cake and baklava and all of these just amazing things. And then I look on the menu and I see paninis and all these things, and I ordered a salad, and it was like and then I'm just looking around and people getting their matchas and all of these other things, and I'm just like, I'm trying to stay healthy, but that raspberry chocolate cheesecake is calling me. So can you talk to the person that believes like me, where I want to have those things still? Like, how can I still live a healthy life, but still have a cheesecake or have popcorn when I go to the movies with my children? How can I still balance this lifestyle?
Yeah. So I think in the beginning, it is best to abstain. Like, when you're just starting, I think it's best to abstain. Just because our bodies are so used to all this sugar, all this extra processed food. And like, our body is just used to like that amount of sugar that you're used to having, the amount of fat that you're used to having, your body is so used to it. So I would recommend like abstaining for at least a period of time. I'm not saying forever, but like when you're getting started, you kind of want to get some of these things out of your body. So your body has like a little bit of a baseline. Because if you go to eat a piece of broccoli after you just ate some cheesecake, how's that broccoli going to taste? It's going to taste awful, because you just had something that was so delicious.
But it's going to make the cheesecake taste so much better if I just flip it, though.
Yes. And that's kind of like where like later along comes into play.
Yeah.
So if you're eating I like to call them boring meals, like meals that just get the job done. And I don't have like boring meals all throughout the day. But if you're prioritizing a breakfast with all of the food groups that you need, you're prioritizing a lunch with all the food groups that you need. Same thing with dinner. If you go to have something that you truly enjoy, a piece of cheesecake, maybe a cup of coffee, a sweet drink, maybe even just like a regular like alcoholic beverage, you're not going to eat as much because you've had so much fuel throughout the day. So you're not going to pack on those extra calories. Like you're not going to have all those extra calories cause more damage to your body because you've just eaten an entire piece of cheesecake, which is half your daily recommended calories and all the fat that you need in the day. So when you kind of prepare your body with kind of like all these like things that we really need, when we do have something that's more indulgent, it's not going to have as much of a bad effect on us. So this is kind of like where like the preparation comes into play.
That's fair.
And I feel like a lot of us like skip breakfast, maybe we skip lunch, and then maybe it like comes to dinner time and we're like completely famished. So you're like, give me everything. I want to eat everything. Yeah. But if you're prepared ahead of time, it kind of prevents like, give me everything. And you get more balanced nutrition throughout the day. And what this is doing, it's providing your body with a whole bunch of vitamins and minerals. Like we take vitamins like in our supplements and whatnot, but we get these vitamins from our food. We're getting protein, which is going to help us build muscle, which is also going to help with the systems and everything in our body. And it's going to give us fiber, which is going to help to cleanse all this negative stuff out of us. So if we're just preparing ahead of time, and then we do eat that, maybe like a few bites of that cake, or even half of that cake, we're not going to get all those negative effects of that piece of cake just because we prepared ahead of time.
Okay, cool. So what I'm hearing is if I prepare, I can still eat the whole cake.
You shouldn't. Okay, so I went to Cheesecake Factory in May. And I'm like, oh my God, these look so good. Like, I just want one. And I'm looking at the calories of these cake. And like I just said, it was like 1,200 to 1,600 calories for one piece of cheesecake. And I'm not a calorie person. But what that equates to is like half your calories that you're supposed to eat in your day.
That's good.
And a lot of it's fat, a lot of it's sugar. Mm-hmm. And when we're just packing on that extra cheesecake, we're packing on all these extra calories. And if this is something that you're doing, especially on a consistent basis, you're just packing those on a consistent basis. And that's contributing to more fat. It's contributing to spiking your blood sugar, more inflammation. It's clogging up your detoxification pathways. It's causing so much harm in your body if this is something that you're doing on a consistent basis.
Of course.
So like I said, you can't eat the cheesecake, but you probably don't want to eat that whole cheesecake. You might want to split it or have a few bites. And if you're prepared ahead of time, you won't have to eat as much. Like you'll be able to like feel your body saying, I'm satisfied. I can stop.
Of course. You know, and I appreciate your perspective. And, you know, I joke because I'm a sweets person. Anybody that knows me just knows that. But I know as I've recognized the seasons where I'm like really in training mode, where I'm running, where I'm eating well, I know how it shows up in my work and how sharp I am in my mind, in my memory, and how I'm even moving. Just everything just seems a lot clearer. But when I'm eating a whole bunch, I can feel the effects of it almost instantly. Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you, and for the audience that is either just coming on or, you know, you didn't get the message. Number one, stop eating processed foods. Just kill. Like if you can't cook it, you don't even need to eat it. Number two, the power of preparation is what I heard, and what I wrote down on my end is like actually prepare your meals ahead of time. And then that will allow you to kill some of those urges, because what happens with busy professionals is you're busy. And the quick thing is usually the thing that's the most unhealthy. But if you've prepared your meals, if you've prepared these different things in the first place on the front end, then now it puts together a process for you to continue to eat healthy. And then it's going to continue to show up in how you move and how you work. I guess my question for you, and the many professionals that you've worked with over the years, why this work? Like, what inspired your journey, or what inspired you to even get to doing this? Like, what is the story behind this work?
Yeah. So in physical therapy school, I finally realized, which was kind of like building up over the course of time, my body is very sensitive. So like I was doing all the right things. I was eating well, I was exercising, I was sleeping, but I had pain everywhere. Like I'd have pain in my foot and it would like shoot to my shoulder, then to my head, to my belly. It was the most random thing. And I couldn't attribute it to anything. I had like this, I called it my fake period. Like I'd bleed outside of my period. I had this constant brain fog. Like I'd be talking to somebody, but I couldn't be like fully there because like I felt like all this like fog in my brain. I was in grad school at the time and we're like learning about all these scary, debilitating conditions. And I'm barely catching what the teacher is saying because I'm in all this fog. But what I am catching is like, oh my God, I'm dying from this diagnosis. Like I have this condition. Wow. And then I went to all these doctors, had all these tests done, and they're like, there's really nothing wrong with you. So like I'm eating well, I'm exercising, but there's really nothing wrong with me. Like, why is this happening? So I kind of took matters into my own hands, which was just like fully understanding my body, the human body, and like how all these things connect. Yeah. And over the course of like my physical therapy journey, I improved. But when I became an entrepreneur, it brought back a whole slew of different things just because of this lifestyle component of being an entrepreneur, being in this push state, this grind state, really trying to accomplish everything and really fulfill my purpose. Yeah. And not fully understanding kind of like all these like nuances behind it, they brought on these symptoms again. And me asking more questions, it gave me more answers. And the answers that I've gathered for myself and the clients that I've worked with, they're able to help so many people just because it's really helping the body by giving it exactly what it's designed to have.
That's good. I love this concept in the name. Even before I was like, look, what's the title of your new book coming out? And I want to hear more about that towards the end of the episode. Yeah. You're like connecting the body dots. Like, what does connecting the body dots mean in simple terms? Like, why is it critical for leaders?
Yeah. I don't even remember when this came to me, but when it came to me one day, I'm like, oh, this is it. So this is the name of my business, my book. And I actually kind of like played with the title for a while, but I'm like, oh, this is it. Duh. So connect the body dots. It means everything in your body is connected, from your head to your toe, to your shoulder, to your belly, to your brain. All of it's connected. It means understanding all these connections within our body. It means understanding how everything in our body is connected and how it relates to the outside world, how it relates to all the relationships that we have, and connecting by also understanding what we can actually do about it. Like I want to give people back power of their body just by understanding the one thing that each of us has.
That's so good. You know, I think about how many times I have probably been off my game. And I've probably related it to something completely different than really looking at like my diet or looking at like, what am I doing health wise or in my body is. So I guess, what are some of the most common silent issues that leaders face, fatigue, chronic pain, or even stress that ultimately affect their ability to lead and perform at a high level?
Poor quality movement. So we talk about exercise as like, I should do my cardio, I should do my weightlifting, maybe do some core work. But how we move is so important. And how we move is extremely affected by our lifestyles. Like I said before, when I became an entrepreneur, I experienced a slew of a whole bunch of different symptoms. Yeah. And it was because I wasn't fully addressing how my body moves at the deepest level. So as entrepreneurs, as leaders, as whatever we're doing in our business, so many of us are stressed out. And this stress is coming from this constant push, having to do something all the time, having to wake up early, having to deal with people that you might not be too fond of, being a perfectionist, critiquing yourself all the time and always wondering, oh, maybe I should have done this better. This constant push is giving our body this silent stressor all the time. And this stressor shows up in our body and how our body moves. And our body holds on to this. And this is a lot of the symptoms that we're feeling just because our lives are so stressful. Yeah. So when I say stress, I'm talking about our nervous system. So within our nervous system, we have two different branches. We have our parasympathetic and our sympathetic. So our sympathetic is kind of like this, like fight or flight. And then our parasympathetic is our rest and digest. Rest and digest is where we're healing. And all day, because we're getting all these different stressors, like we're being stressed out from working, kids, being on the go all day, we're getting too much stress. We're getting too much breakdown in our body, and we never get a chance to heal. And when we're getting so much stress in our body, what this is doing, it's causing us to hold tension in various areas in our body. And this tension in our neck, our shoulders, our back, our hips, it's literally squishing us. So a lot of the pain that we feel, it's our body's like squishing us. It's compressing our spine. It's our body being locked up, not being able to move. And you could feel this in like when you try to go to do something and like, oh, my shoulder's a little bit pinchy, got a little bit of a stiff neck because I slept wrong.
Yeah.
You could feel it in that, but it's also going to show up in kind of like this brain fog, because everything through here is so tight. Like you have blood supply that's going to your brain, coming from your neck. You have nerves that are coming from your back, blood supply that's coming from your back, because everything is so tight, because we're so stressed out. And on top of that, we don't move that much. Everything is so tight, and it's affecting how we think, our emotions, how we move, how we interact with people, being able to pick up emotions that somebody else is saying, just because we're so stressed out. So we can't even notice like the little things, like little facial expressions somebody is saying in like a meeting that could give you so much valuable information. And when we start to move better, connect with our body better, and this is the whole connect the body things. It's starting with our foundation, which is how we breathe. We're start to able to kind of learn to move better and undo some of the things that life causes us to have.
This is good. You know, like I'm sitting over here like this is like a master class, like a health class. And it's interesting because I know you. And we don't have enough of these conversations. We need to have more of these conversations. And I'm so thankful personally. I feel like I forgot that the audience was here, and I feel like we're just having a conversation. Yeah. And I guess a question that I thought through is like, all right, well, what are some daily practices? What are some things that I can do on a day-to-day basis as an executive, as a leader, or even someone listening in, that they can do so that they can just be on a better path to preventing some of these things from happening?
First thing you could do is throughout the day, just pause for a second. Like we're so stimulated by our screens, conversations, people, emails, like all these different things. Every once in a while, just pause and give your body like some nothing. Like a lot of us just need nothing. Like we need some silence.
What does that look like?
Look like a walk, like no music on a walk. It could look like putting down your phone. It could look like literally just sitting there, being the weirdo, just sitting there at your desk, just breathing, like doing nothing. So many of us can't do nothing. And I think that's a major problem. Like we can't be sitting at a doctor's office. We can't be sitting in line with just doing nothing. We have to be like on our phones. We have to be doing something at all periods of the time. So we have to learn to do nothing. And within this nothing, what you can do is just focus on your breath. So a lot of the times people will hear like diaphragmatic breathing, like belly breathing. And it's good. It's good because you're focusing on your breath, but your lungs are in your rib cage. So when we're focusing on our breath, we want to get the air into our rib cage so that we get this air and blood perfusion. So throughout the day, stop, take a second, and slowly breathe. So we can even try this. So you're going to sit up nice and tall, have some like length in your spine. You're going to slowly breathe. So take a full breath. Make sure your mouth is closed. My mouth is going to be open because I'm talking. Take a breath in through your nose. Slow breath in, and you'll feel everything expand. It's called this 360 expansion. So you'll feel air move into your chest, sides of your rib cage, your belly, back, and lengthening through your pelvic floor. This is lengthening and expanding all these different muscles, helping these muscles to start to calm down.
Can I let it out now? Because I'm about to.
Yeah. Sorry. I can't talk that fast. And then when you exhale, we don't emphasize this exhale enough, but this exhale, this is tapping into that parasympathetic state. This is allowing our bodies to start to heal. So when we exhale, we're going to get this slow, emphasis on this slow, long exhale. And what you're going to feel is you're going to feel maybe a lift of your pelvic floor, and then kind of this compression of your lower belly, middle belly, and your rib cage as you slowly, fully exhale. So throughout the day, you could do this. When you're paused, when you're just doing nothing, you could do this. When you're having a conversation and you feel your body tensing up, you feel your face getting a little bit stern. If you just tap into your breath a little bit in this conversation, it gives your body some relaxation. It gives your body some safety during this conversation. So you could kind of fix your face so you can actually have the conversation. So you get more out of it so you can do what actually needs to get done. And after, you'll feel a little bit better because you're not so tensed up. We are so tensed up all the time. And if we just give our body micro doses of safety, micro doses of this breath throughout the day, just randomly throughout the day, just focus on our breath, it allows our body to heal in so many different ways.
There are so many people I'm going to send this episode to after this. One is like the first person is my dad. Like when you talk about breathing exercises, just like release your attention, bro. Like relax, like just take a breath. And I think of so many people that are always on the go, always are doing something, have to always, like, you can never just sit down and do nothing. And one of the questions that came in is, what is your favorite do nothing activity?
So my nothing is very strategic in that my nothing, it's very focused on my breath. So every day, at least once a day, I will lay on the floor and do my breath work. So it's kind of like this, but this is kind of just like the foundation. Yeah. So I'm a movement professional. Like I love movement. So the movement that I do, it's very specific in like what I want my body to do. So it's like this, but kind of like progressed a little bit. So I do random breathing exercises on the floor. You'll see me on my wall doing exercises just to give my body a little bit of a reset. So like I said, I'm like, my body's extremely sensitive. Like if I don't like the environment, if I don't like the energy, if I don't like what I'm wearing, I don't like my hair, my body is extremely sensitive. So I use movement to give my body some sense of safety, to reset my body. So I'm able to go back out and be a normal person. But yeah, so I roll on the floor, do some things on the wall. I walk and breathe. I just love to use movement as medicine. And we're taught like exercise is good, which is good. We're taught strength training is good, but how we do these things, this is so much more important. And it all starts with our breath.
I need to start breathing more. Yeah. Like starting today, I'm going to implementing some do nothing activities. Now, what I will say is that 45 minutes a day, I block out time on my calendar. It's in the morning where I call it a thinking exercise, where all I do is I have a pen and a paper and I turn off all technology and I just write whatever comes in my mind. And that's really helped me stay sharp and focused. And I've only implemented this for the last like 2 or 3 weeks, but it's allowed me to really stay sharp and understand. I learned a new word the other day. Metacognition is what your study of, is thinking about what you're thinking about. It's the study of thinking about what you're thinking about. And for me as a leader, I feel like that's helped me show up better for the people that I'm called to serve. As I think about the leaders that are listening in, how can leaders integrate core strength, mobility, and this recovery that you talk about into an already packed schedule? Because for me, I'm already getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have a packed schedule every day. Like, what do you recommend for that person that's, look, my schedule is packed, I'm in high pressure environments. How can I integrate those things in?
Yeah. So I think all of us need to start to connect with our movement at least first thing in the morning. So I give very specific movements, and it's very different depending on the person, but like five minutes, like anybody could give 5 minutes in the morning where they're able to just connect with their body better. Throughout the day, take I call them movement snacks. So we'll eat like a little snack when we're hungry, but like if our body is starting to feel a little bit tight, a little bit achy, or energy's off, I call them movement snacks. So this is where you'll see me just doing random things on the wall that take literally like 30 seconds. So throughout the day, don't just keep going. Take little movement snacks throughout the day to kind of reset your body. And just like I do it in the morning, I do it at night before I go to bed to kind of prime my body to kind of turn down before bed so I have better quality sleep. And all of this that I talked about, this breath is integrated into my workout. So like I don't necessarily have like a specific like day where I'm just like doing like breath work, unless it's like kind of like this this things that I do in the morning at night. But all of these things are tied into how we move in the gym. So this breath is the foundation of how we move. So if we start to apply this to the core exercise that we're doing in our gym, the mobility exercise that we do in the gym, our lifts that we do in the gym, we can get so much more out of the movements that we're already doing. It's just a matter of thinking of how we're doing them.
That's good. I think about the leader that travels a lot too. I think it's easier for you to integrate things in your schedule when you are stationary. And this isn't me making excuses at all, but I'm trying to think of all the leaders that usually listen. I was working at a gym at one point in my life, and there was this guy that would come in, and he was literally traveling all the time. Like when he would come in, he would say like, where are you going today? And so I'm headed to Europe. And then he would come back like the next week, and I'm headed to Arizona. And he was like maybe one time in the gym, but he was super fit. So thinking about a leader like that, that's on the road, a speaker, potentially executive director, that's rocking and rolling. How can leaders maintain, I guess, peak performance while traveling in meetings during these, again, like I said earlier, those high pressure periods?
So even if you are traveling, I think it needs to be somewhat of a habit. Like I do this every day. I do this at this point of every time of the day. I do this at every point in your night. So it's giving your body this constant reset. And the thing about these exercises that I'm talking about is they really don't require any equipment. They just require you and some extreme intention. So literally, I'm just on the ground. Sometimes I'll have like a pillow or a yoga block, but you don't necessarily need that. You just need the ground, a wall, and some extreme focus. And the focus is like, it doesn't have to be for an extended period of time. Like I said, it could be 5 minutes. If you're doing this 5 minutes throughout the day, you're giving your body a little bit of a reset each time. So you're not just kind of building up more stress and more tension throughout the day. So every time you do it, it just calms back down a little bit. And then when you do have periods where you have maybe a little bit more free time, you could do a little bit more.
That's so good. There's been so many times where I felt disconnected, and that's just the reality of it is. But I find, you've been an athlete your whole life, and I've been an athlete my whole life. Basketball, track, and even ran track at the collegiate level. And then you get out of school, and then you find you're disconnected. But I find that athletes, they can always kind of get themselves back to a program, and so, because we've seen it, we've known what our body looked like at one point, we know what to do in the gym. But for leaders who feel disconnected, that's not their story.
Yeah.
They feel disconnected from their body and their confidence. What is the first tangible step that they can make today, besides hiring you, of course, that can get them just at least comfortable and consistent and on a track to transformation?
Yeah. So I'm just going to take a step back just before I give step number 1, but you have to believe that you can do it.
That's good.
So if we think that we're going to be stuck here forever, you will stay stuck here forever. We have to believe that we could do it. Like this goes all the way down to a cellular level. You have to believe that you can do it. So once you believe that you could do it and you talk to yourself kindly, like stop calling yourself fat, stop calling yourself sick, stop defining yourself by your diagnosis. We have to believe that we can do it. And then I say just 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes the same time every day, do something. We need to build the consistency and habits first. And granted, there are specific things that we can start to do, but 30 minutes a day, start to have some type of exercise. And if you can, start to make sure you're having that breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The simplest things that you could do, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 30 minutes a day. And then from there, you build on that. But we really want to build the consistency in our habits. And then
I want you to answer this. This is a question that I wrote down earlier. True or false? Working longer hours is more effective than taking care of your body.
Working longer hours. More effective in what?
Than taking care of your body.
It's more effective than taking care of your body? Mm-hmm. More effective than what? Like, it's more effective, like, what's the goal?
I didn't think about that part when I wrote it down. Because I think a lot of times we think that working long hours is productive, and we're going to perform, and we're going to be able to achieve this and achieve that. So I guess my thought process is, a lot of people believe that because I'm working, I'm more productive. So I'm going to negate working out, or I'm going to negate doing these things that are more important because I am working and I'm achieving financial goals and I'm achieving success and I'm achieving notoriety. But what happens is the alternative, that you're not showing up for your health. So true or false, working longer hours is more important than your body.
False, because how's the quality of your work? Like,
all right. Next question. It's gonna be rapid fire. True or false, leaders can push through pain and fatigue without consequence?
I'm really bad at black and white answers.
And then you can expound on it too.
False. Like, they're going to be able to push through, but at there's always a trade-off. It's going to be a trade-off, and so you could push through, and you can do a lot of different things, and you could maybe even do it well. But how well are you going to do it if your body isn't fully there? And we might think that we're doing everything so great, but it's like these little things that we probably don't even notice. Like I said before, like if our body is stressed out all the time, we're not going to be as present. We're not going to be as aware. We're not going to be able to pick up on different emotions and kind of have the conversations that we're supposed to. We're not going to be as creative. We're not going to be as sharp just because our bodies don't feel as well. So I find sometimes, most of the times, just taking a step back to take care of your body, even if it's a little bit, because there are times where you have to push to accomplish different things, but it's going to come at a cost, and the cost might not be worth it. Like if your goal is to kind of work with students or work with whoever, it might not be as good because you just push so much. You lose that connection with yourself. You lose that connection with people. You lose a connection with your work just because you lost that connection with your body. So it's always important to take a step back sometimes to give your body what it needs.
That's it. That's what I needed the leaders to hear. What are some of the biggest, I guess, misconceptions? Because the first two were myths. I wanted to be able to dispel these myths that, look, if you're a leader that's listening in and you work those 10, 12, 13, 14-hour days and you think you're productive and you don't go to the gym ever and you don't eat well, you're not. It's going to catch up with you. You may look good with your suit on, but take it off. And I know you probably don't feel the best. And
the long-term consequences as well.
There it is. And that's the one we don't ever talk about, like the long term. It may be able to get you through a quarter, through a year, even through a period of time. But how is it really affecting you in the long term? And then number two, you can be able to push through for a season, but how is that affecting you in the long term? And that's what we just heard here. Aissa, what are some of the biggest misconceptions, like about exercise, about mobility, or even health that leaders fall for?
Like I said, I think especially as leaders, like we go all or nothing, and a lot of us go all or nothing in the gym. Like we push it so hard at the gym.
Yeah.
Like we'll do our running, we'll do our HIIT classes, we'll do our strength training. We're doing all these different things. And then we get to a point where you're so burnt out, like you're exhausted because you've been pushing it so hard. You've been doing all the right things. But like I said, it's not all or nothing. Our body needs some type of balance. So when we think of all or nothing, we think of like what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah, we should be doing our cardio. We should be doing our strength training. We might need we do need some mobility work, but it might be less than what you think. And we want to kind of get into like the intricacies of like how we're supposed to be doing it, because a lot of people, we're just burning ourselves out because we think we know what we're supposed to be doing. We think we just need to push hard, when there are times where you're supposed to push hard, but there's also times where you're supposed to step back, or times where you're supposed to do something a little bit different. And that's kind of like where like a little bit more like the nuances come into play. Go ahead.
Let's do a quick rapid fire exercise. I love these type of exercises. Let me think of the first question. What's one small habit that a leader can implement this week to feel better and perform better?
Every once an hour, take 60 seconds to connect with your breath.
What is one movement or exercise that has the biggest payoff for posture and energy?
Okay, I can't rapid fire this one. So it's different for different people. So
Okay.
all of us are going to have different compensations. Different positions might be difficult for different people. So some of like the big ones that I like to just start with is just like laying on your back, kind of like a bridge position where you're
Yeah.
connecting with your breath, laying on your side, connecting with your breath, or on your hands and knees, just connecting with your breath. Those are good things to do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I do have a favorite.
There it is.
Okay.
Let's go.
I call it a gator. So pretty much you're laying on your side. I could pretend like I'm doing it. Okay. So pretty much you're like laying on your side with your knees bent.
Yeah.
And I'm laying on my side. Arms are going to be in front, and you're going to keep your arms nice and long. And what you're going to do is you're going to rotate backward and follow with your head as you take a breath in, and then close as you breathe out. Nice and slow. So what this is doing, it's giving your body so much rotation. It's improving how your neck moves, your upper back moves, your lower back moves, all while incorporating your breath.
All right.
That's
All
one
right.
of my favorites.
That was as rapid as it could get. I like it. I guess another question is, what mindset shift what is one mindset shift that will help leaders value self-care? Let's go with that one.
I think we focus so much on all the things that we have to do throughout the day. But I think we need to start to focus on make our body a priority and focus on the things that we have to do for our body. So our body has to be a priority, just like all of like the other things that we're doing throughout our day. So we all have our priorities, and some might be more important than others, but how our body feels and taking care of our body should be up there as well, not all the way at the bottom. And we need to focus on what we can actually do. We need to focus on our habits of what we can actually do to take care of our body.
I want to transition. I want to get into the framework. I want to talk about the book. What does that transformation look like step by step, when a leader moves from burnout to balance under your guidance?
Yeah. So a lot of the times it's undoing so much of like what's ingrained in us. And like I said, I'm a teacher, so I'm kind of teaching you, hey, don't think like this. Hey, don't do like this. And then we start to kind of build our foundations. So I take a look at your goals, and within your goals, like you have your body goals, but you also have the things that you're working on in your everyday life, because we can't really separate them. Like they're all going on at the same time. And what we really need to do is kind of prioritize what is actually the thing that you need to do right now. And then what some people will find is some things might actually have to drop off of your list, just so that you have the time, the mental capacity to actually focus on your body. Because so many of us are just doing so much, and you could only breathe your way out of doing so much. Like you can't do it all. So sometimes it's even taking some things off of the list, and not taking it off for forever, but doing it, like putting it on like a to-do list for why we're doing these goals. Because so many of us feel like we want to get healthy for somebody else. We want to look a certain way. But in actuality, we're trying to get healthy for ourselves so that we could fulfill our purpose, do what we need to do. And a lot of the times when people start a fitness program, it's just for they want to start to look good. But we need it to be for a deeper purpose, because otherwise we're just going to keep falling off.
Yeah.
When we have this deeper purpose in why we're doing this, we stay on track. And then we start to build our habits. So we need to focus on the actual steps that we need to be doing every day to actually reach our goals. And we need to focus intensely on the habits. If we just focus on the end goal, if we just focus on the body, and we don't like when we see every day, oh, I'm not there. Oh, I didn't reach my goal today. That's when we fall off as well. So it's kind of focusing on all these different things so we don't kind of like lose sight of where we're trying to go and fall off along the way. And then within the habits, it's focusing on getting nutrition right, just focusing on the basics. It's working on your mobility because so many of us are so tight. It's working on our core strength. It's working on our total body strength and actually building muscle, body fat, improve your posture, and it helps your body function better in so many different ways. So that's kind of like the rundown of the framework.
Yeah, of course. And so what I hear for people that missed it is I want you to be able to write down your goals. I want you to like really be clear in the type of life that you want to live, how you want to feel, and how you want to be able to show up. And then I want you to hire somebody and invest so that you can be able to have habits that are in alignment with the goals that you're working to achieving. Because performance requires a process, and that process requires mentorship, training, and somebody that is an expert for you to be able to clearly get to where you desire to go. Let me ask you this question. Why you? Why this work, and why now do leaders, why is this so important for leaders to be able to prioritize their health?
One, because you are important. Like it's not just your work. Your work is important too. The people that you serve is important, but you're important too. So you are important. Your family is important. If you don't take care of older, how are you going to feel? How is this going to affect your family? And directly today, how is this going to affect the community or the population that you serve? We need to start to do this because this has so many indirect consequences and we just might not even realize it.
Leaders, here's a takeaway. Here's one of the things that I wrote down. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't lead at your best if your body is compromised. And what we've talked about today isn't just about looking good or feeling better. It's about how do you achieve peak performance? How do you remain present? How do you accomplish what you are meant to accomplish so that the impact you can have for your team, for your organization, for the things that you are leading can be able to be as effective and as efficient as possible. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. And how you allowed me to, and you reminded me the importance of connecting the body dots, aligning how I feel, how I function. And of course, it all is about how you look as well. And it's not just a luxury, but it's also a leadership strategy. It's about reducing that pain. It's about improving your energy. It's about restoring your confidence. It's about creating, I like how you said longevity. It's not about just the now and how it shows up now. It's about how it shows up in the long term. So here's what I want our listeners to do after this episode. Here's what I want. And let me know if I get any steps wrong.
Okay.
Number one is I want you to take one small action today. Maybe it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, a moment to do nothing and breathe. Number two is that I want you to reflect on the areas of your body and energy that are limiting your leadership, whether it's the mental fog, whether it's your lacking of memory, whether it's you're in a meeting and you're not emotionally intelligent to fully process what somebody else is communicating in front of you. And then I want you to commit to like improving on those things. And then number three, I want you to invest in yourself. I want you to invest in yourself because when you show up healthy and confident, and like we have every episode, we talk about the energy that you create or the energy you bring is the culture you create. So I want you to invest yourself. Thank you so much for your expertise. Where can people find you and how can we invest in ourselves?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Dr.Aissa_. My website is connectthebodydots.com if you want to work with me or get the book that goes into all this information, but kind of breaks it down step by step. That should be available soon. and my YouTube channel is Connect the Body Dots as well.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome back, new listeners or old listeners. And thank you for listening, new listeners. This is another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King. We were here with the absolutely amazing Connect the Body Dots professional and expert. If this is your time, then I want you to take it. I want you to take this time to be able to, right after this episode, remember the 3 steps. Take 30 seconds to a minute and check your breath. Write down your goals, and then go invest in yourself today. Like this episode, share this episode, subscribe to the podcast, and remember this question. What type of culture am I spreading? The energy you bring is the culture you create. Make yours worth catching. We'll see you all next episode.